My name is David Luke Oates, and I'm the Vice President of Power Markets Research at REsurety. So what that means is I lead a team that's responsible for building and refining the analytical tools we use to help our customers understand power prices and a bunch of other outcomes in the power markets.
And my name is Amit Ranjan. I am an associate in the Power Markets Research team. Can you help define what is locational marginal emissions?
Locational marginal emissions, or LMEs, are about getting a really high level of visibility into the projects and the activities that can drive and accelerate grid-scale decarbonization. So LMEs are locational because they account for the location in the power grid where clean energy is produced and where it's consumed, and the physics of the transmission network that connects them. They're marginal because they account for the market mechanism that we use to schedule generation, which varies hour by hour. And of course, they're emissions because they're measuring tons of carbon abated and emitted rather than focusing on megawatt hours of clean energy.
What challenges are you solving with LMEs?
Yeah, so a big challenge we're solving with LMEs is just the access to data about the carbon impact of energy. So historically, a lot of the industry has been sort of forced to count clean megawatt hours as an alternative because of the lack of access to information. So LMEs provide that information. And it turns out when we use LMEs to evaluate the carbon impact of clean megawatt hours, we find that there's up to a factor of 2 difference in the impact of different projects. And that's within the same grid and over the course of a whole year. So if you're a buyer who's interested in buying clean energy in order to decarbonize your business, why not buy from the facility that abates twice as much carbon as its neighbor? And if you're a developer who's trying to market your project on the basis of decarbonization, why not use LMEs to advertise that your project abates twice as much carbon as the competition? And of course, if you're a storage developer, the framework of counting clean megawatt hours doesn't let you show the carbon value of your project at all. But with LMEs, you can actually show that.
What is unique about REsurety's LME?
The level of granularity that they provide. So we're reporting LMEs at the level of the grid transmission node, and we're doing it every hour of the year, accounting for the conditions on the system when clean energy is produced or consumed. So we're delivering this information in a couple of different ways. So we're providing reports at the individual project or load level, and we're also providing the data kind of in bulk through an API.
Can you speak to some customer use cases?
Yeah, so one of the great things about having a data product is that our customers use the data in the way that makes sense for them. So we've actually learned a lot from working with our customers and trying to support them in their various workflows. So first are the energy buyers. So these are often corporations that have business operations and are trying to decarbonize by buying clean energy. So if you're a corporation like that, you often have a bunch of different projects that you could buy your clean energy from. And with LMEs, you can evaluate the relative carbon impact of those different projects and make the best possible decision. Another workflow that we see buyers using is trying to understand the carbon impact of an existing portfolio. And so LMEs can also support that workflow. A second category of customer that we work a lot with are the developers. So developers are in the business of getting a project off the ground and then trying to sell it to a buyer. And in some ways, the developers care about carbon impact because the buyers care about them. So if you're a developer, you might want to use LMEs to show that your project has more carbon impact than some of your competitors. We also have customers who are institutional investors. So these are folks who aren't buying power directly, but might have an ownership stake in a number of different clean energy projects. So if you're an institutional investor, you might have a reporting obligation and want to use LMEs to evaluate the carbon impact of your portfolio.